Do you hear what I hear? A song high above the tree, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Il Signore mi rende uno strumento della vostra pace.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Dove c'è odio, lascialo seminare l'amore.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love.
Dove ci è ferito,
Where there is injury,
pardon. Dove ci è dubbio,
where there is doubt,
fede. Dove ci è disperazione,
where there is despair,
sperare. Dove ci è nerezza,
there is darkness,
innarsi. Dove ci è la tristezza, Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
to be understood as to understand.
Love as to love, for it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again.
It is in dying that we are born again to eternal life. Signore, mi rende uno strumento della vostra pace.
Lord, make me,
Signore,
make me an instrument of your peace.
Good morning, dear teachers, and welcome to our fourth and final session. Napakabilis po ng panahon. Last day na po natin and last session na rin natin. Thank you for coming po. Even if it's a Sunday, we know po marami tayong mga gawaing bahay, religious obligations, and family obligations on a Sunday. But we're very grateful that you're here with us this morning. A few reminders po before we start with our fourth session. Of course, our attendance for session 4 is up on our FB group page. So kindly accomplish that po. If you have not done so, you can do that after our session this morning. Of course, welcome to the i.LEAD family, our members, our newest members, Sir Edmund Saison from Bacolod City National High School, Ma'am Raquel Simatu from SDO Santa Rosa, and also Ma'am Jeanette Martinez from SDO Santa Rosa. Maraming salamat po for joining the i.LEAD family. Other reminders po, of course, our assessment tool. So sana po by this time you have already accomplished assessment for session 1, 2, and 3. Yung ating pong assessment for session 4, whatever po will be your output for the workshop session, pwede nyo na lang pong yun ang isubmit for the assessment for session 4. So dahil workshop session po tayo, kung ano po yung output natin this morning, yun na rin po yung ating isasubmit. So we will put up a submission bin later po after the session. Doon lamang po isasubmit yung ating assessment, not through email, not through messenger, sa submission bin po so that it will be properly recorded because we'll also share the results of submissions in the bin to the SDOs. And then, of course, our evaluation tool. Google form po ito. Minsan lamang po pwedeng sagutan. So we ask everyone to kindly read the instructions carefully po. before you answer the evaluation tool after po ng ating session 4. And of course, to accomplish all attendance po ng sessions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nandun po lahat yan sa ating FB group page. Okay, let us begin our session for this morning by introducing session 4, which is a workshop session gaya po ng sinasabi ko sa inyo, designing a virtual scenario in your chosen subject or field of specialization. So whatever po yung tinuturo nyo, kung anong level man po yun, mag-isip na po tayo at yun ang gagawin natin for this morning. This concluding session provides an opportunity to you, dear teachers, to apply the principles you learned in the previous sessions and design alternative virtual scenarios for a particular lesson in your field of specialization. So kung science, math, araling panlipunan, TVL, nabanggit po natin kahapon, whether you're teaching in preschool, elementary or high school or college, yan po yung gagawin natin. A virtual scenario provides an overview of your selected lesson, the virtual scenario or story, the delivery thereof, and the processing method or drawing out the main ideas and concept from the scenario. Our expected learning outcomes for this morning first is to design and write a virtual scenario for a particular lesson in your field of specialization. To integrate lessons learned from sessions 1 to 3 in virtual scenario designs and presentation, and to evaluate virtual scenario presentations according to best practices and guidelines discussed in the previous sessions. So yung ating po assessment, prepare a lesson plan outline applying the virtual scenario. So yun na po yung gagawin natin sa workshop. So wala na pong asynchronous session. Kung ano na po yung output natin for this morning, yun na po yung ating assessment. So just take screenshots of what you've accomplished and insert it po dun sa ating Word file or put a link on the Word file kung naka-Google Drive po yung ating output at yun na po yung isasubmit natin. For the highly proficient teachers, you're asked to construct rubrics or assessment tool of the outputs. So pwede pong yan naman, alternatively pwede rin naman pong yan ang gawin. Okay, for session 4, we welcome back Sir Jopo to help us with our workshop this morning. Sir Jopo, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Ria. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the workshop module in our webinars on virtual scenarios and online classrooms. At kagaya nga, ulitin ko yung sinabi ni Ma'am Ria kanina, maraming salamat sa inyo kasi kahit Sunday, we are here collaborating, talking to each other. At alam ko mahalaga yung Sunday para sa inyo at para sa inyong pamilya, but you sacrifice it. At least have a day lang naman po sa ating webinar ngayon, sa ating module ngayon. Okay, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes po.
Okay.
Loud and clear, Sir Jopo.
Now I will begin to share my presentation. Okay. So, ayun, okay lang ba yung ating presentation?
Yes po, visible po. Very clear.
Okay, so sige, Ayan, So constructing virtual scenarios, I would like to minimize this, so that I can save bandwidth. So wait, now let me fix my screen for a moment. Okay, so there we go. So this is a workshop, for virtual scenarios. And let me start by telling you a story, okay? The big word, that has been, existing around, for some time during these past 3 years is of course, change. No, despite the fact that DepEd and CHED has been, very, very intense on their decision to let us go back to the classroom. We are quite, optimistic about this, no? And yet we are also excited about the prospects of going back to the classroom, because definitely things are not going to be the same. Okay. And if we think that we are going back to the original classroom before COVID-19, then this might not be getting the best cut through to our students, no, as we would expect. You see, we are living in what we call the age of digital disruption. This is when digital technologies has encroached into our consciousness. This is when digitalization technologies has invaded our comfort zones, and things are never going to be the same. Okay? Well, for one, our classrooms are changing. No, there has been two very important disruptions that happened to us during these years. The first is, of course, the pandemic, COVID-19, and the second is the digital technological disruptions, no, of the way we do things, more particularly in the educational system. We would like to think that one caused the other, no? That the pandemic caused this digital explosion in our lifestyles. But to be sure, digital technologies had been here even before the pandemic. No? The explosion, however, is another thing. No? It was the pandemic that caused such a massive diversification of gadgets, technologies, approaches. No? We have seen our educational system change. No? Our classrooms are changing. Our delivery systems are changing. Our platforms are changing. Our modalities are changing. No? Even our students are changing. Their tastes, their preferences, their likes, dislikes. No? And if we think that children, our kids, our students will enter the classroom without their gadgets, no, in the coming year, then perhaps we might be depriving them of some instances when education would be at a great advantage. Okay? We live in what we call, technologically speaking, the age of digitalization, no, the information age. No, malayo na tayo sa Stone Age, Metal Age. No, the information age is now at hand. No? And more specifically, in this information age, we are in that period which we call the big data age. No? Big data, when research is no longer concerned primarily with going to the field, no? Doing groundwork, gathering data, but mining the big data that is being accumulated on the internet. No? We have spent so much of our times already in front of the screens. And so instead of being in the Stone Age, we might as well call this age the Great Screen Age. Di ba? Okay, sa sobrang panahon, nakaharap natin ang ating mga screens, ang ating mga computers. Okay? And, well, this kind of an event happened way back in the 1990s, no? When face-to-face interaction began dipping down and electronic media interaction began to rise. No? Sigman in 2009 tracked this all the way back to 1997, when electronic media communications, interactions began to surpass the time spent in face-to-face interaction. So mula noong 1997, mas madami na talaga yung ating mga electronic media interaction, yung ating oras na ginugugol sa electronic media interaction kaysa sa oras na ginugugol natin sa ating mga face-to-face interaction. No? Let me show this visually. No? This is a picture in 2005, no? Upon the death of Pope John Paul II. No? And his body is being carried into the Sistine Chapel for public viewing. So yan, ganyan kadami yung mga tao noon, no, para tignan yung bangkay ni Pope John Paul II. No? Notice this phone over here, no, on the lower right corner of your screens, no? That's an old Nokia model, no? So, ayan, ganyan pa rin record, no, yung mga events noon, no? But compare this to 8 years later, no, with the inauguration of Pope Francis. Ayan na ngayon, no? So, what do you notice in these two pictures? No? In just 8 years, no, public viewing has been transformed by digital technologies. No, I will go back to the first picture. No, look at that, and then look at the people here. No, everyone is now recording the event on their gadgets, on their phones. No, so what does this mean for us and our students? What does this mean for our classroom? No, sigurado, no, nasanay na ang ating mga estudyante using their gadgets at pati tayo rin, no, nasanay na tayo sa paggamit ng ating mga gadgets, no? Kaya hindi natin maiiwasan na kapag nag-face-to-face tayo full-time, andyan yung mga gadgets na yan, no? It will be inevitable, no? The gadget is an ubiquitous property on our persons right now, no? We are spending more time in front of our gadgets than we have ever spent before. Okay? Yung ating mga estudyante, no, ngayon, bahagi na sila ng tinatawag na Generation Y, no? Kayo, yung mga bata dito sa Zoom conference na to, kayo yung mga Generation X, no? Kami, no? Mga baby boomers na pinanganak ng mga 1960s, no? We are way, way behind you in terms of digital technological versatility. No? Kayang-kaya nyo yan. You have been called, you and Generation Y have been called digital integrators, screen agers, no? Generation connected, the iGen, no? Digital natives, generation gamers, .com kids, click and go kids. So these are the various names that have been given to you, no? And that have been given to the students of today who are going back to the physical classroom, no? And we can never tell them again to leave their gadgets behind, no? We have to contend with that, no? So, nagbabago rin yung ating mga kinakatakutan, no? Let me ask you, no? And you can answer in the chat. Relate much daw, sabi ni Miss Flordelisa, no? You can answer in the chat. What are your greatest fears, no? Ano yung mga pinakamalalaking yung kinakatakutan ngayon, no? Ako, no? Takot na takot ako sa kawalan ng libro. Halimbawa, no? I fear the time when we would be reading mostly and solely on screens. Kasi yung mata ko hindi na kagaya ng dati na adaptable pa, no? Sa ilaw, sa screen ng computer, no? At mas komportable pa rin siya na nagbabasa ng printed material, no? So ang kinakatakutan ko later on baka magbawas yung publications, no? At hindi na natin mahahawakan yung mga libro na hinihimas, no? Page by page na linilipat, no? Pabalik-balik tayo sa mga quotations na passages na gustong-gusto natin, no? Kayo, ano yung kinakatakutan nyo ngayon, no? Lots of pupils now, sir. Malabo ang mata, grabe, no? Okay, so what are your greatest fears? No, type them on the screen, please, no, so that we can scan, no, yung mga kinakatakutan natin, no? Spiders ba? Ahas, no? Fear of heights, no? Okay. So, si Sir Burma, takot na mawalan ng internet connection. Yan, no? Okay, relate much, no? Okay, so there, no? Ang mga kinakatakutan ng bagong generation ngayon, no? Unang-una ito. Ayan, no? Mahinang Wi-Fi, no? Okay. So from fear of heights, from fear of snakes, from fear of wild animals, no, from fear of the darkness, this is one of the great fears of the current generation, no? Okay. A second fear, no? The second biggest fear is this. Okay. Yan, ano yan, no? That's the buffering circle, di ba? Oh, kapag nagbabuffer, ibig sabihin mabagal yung internet, no? Mabagal yung download speed, no? At naiinis tayo, no? Kapag ganyan, no? Pero ang pinakamalaking kinakatakutan daw, no, ng henerasyon ngayon, the biggest fear that we have is this. Yan, no? What is that, no? That is an empty battery, no? The empty battery symbol. Okay, so these are the three biggest fears of the current generation. But what do these have in common? Technology, right? No, and technological failure is thus one of the giant fears of this generation right now. Now we have here two figures. No, this is an impact also of the technological revolution that is happening right now, the digital transformation that is happening right now. What is 8.5 seconds? No, that is now the average human attention span. No, okay. Those of you who love to watch, you know, your ano ba tawag dun sa mga TikTok na brief screens ba yon, no? Yung kapag nag-Facebook tayo, may mga lumalabas na yung mga brief na videos, di ba? Gaano kabilis tayo mag-scroll, no? Kapag tumitingin tayo ng mga videos na yon, ng mga kabataang sumasayaw, yung mga nagluluto ng kung ano-anong mga pagkain, no? So we flip by, we scroll up, no, so fast that we do not even have time to digest the videos that are there on that moving screen, no? What is 9.0 seconds, no? Okay. Oh. Reels, yan, no? So thank you, Sir Jana, no? Pag nanonood tayo ng Reels, di ba? Ang bilis nating mag-scroll up, no? Pag meron tayong nakikita na medyo interesting, medyo pinapatagal natin, but on the average, we spend 8.5 seconds focus on a particular thing, on our laptop screens, on our gadget screens, no? Okay. Eto, this is shorter than 9.0 seconds, which is the average attention span of a goldfish, no? In short, mas mahaba pa yung focus ng goldfish kaysa sa focus ng tao ngayon sa alinmang bagay, no? Okay. At napakabilis. So this is the average, of course, no? There are attention spans that are shorter than 8.5 and attention spans longer than 8.5, no? What about our kids? What about our children, no? Studies show that as we grow older, some 2 to 3 minutes of attention span is added every year, no? A child aged 2 has a 4 to 6 minutes attention span before the focus shifts to another object. A child of 3 will have an average attention span of 6 to 8 minutes. Now, we go to the ages where we have our children in school, no? At around 7 to 8, all the way to 16 plus, all the way to 19, no? For senior high school students, no? Look at the attention spans, no? They range from 12 minutes to about an hour, no? In short, no? In brief, our attention spans, or the attention spans of our children, of our students, are getting shorter and shorter every day, no? And if we have an hour of subject matter, we can only hold the attention on the average of these minutes for every year, no? In age, okay? So, paano natin, ang challenge ngayon, paano natin makukuha yung kanilang atensyon at masusustain, no? ng naayon sa ating mga schedules, no? Siyempre, no, may mga bagay-bagay na mahaba yung attention span ng ating mga estudyante, no? Halimbawa na mga movies, no? Mga videos, no? But kung magbabasa sila ng mga content, halimbawa news items sa internet, no? Or what do you call this, news features, no? O iba pang mga content-rich na pages sa internet, no? The average attention span is 3 minutes and 55 seconds, no? This is the average time spent on content-rich websites like news, text, etc., no? Napapansin nyo, no? Pag nag-post kayo ng isang comment halimbawa at binigyan nyo ng panghuling sentence sa baba, no? Most often, no? Ang binabasa lang ng ating mga tagapanood, no, tagapagtangkilik, ang binabasa lang ng ating mga followers, no, ay yung first part. Hindi nila nakukuha yung last part. Kaya pag tinesting mo sila, nagbigay ka ng halimbawa isang post na, nako, ang busy naman ng 2023 ko. January, pupunta ako ng Boracay. February, pupunta ako ng Siargao. Tapos March, eto nang pinakahihintay ko. Pupunta ako sa South Korea at bibisitahin ko ang Jeju Island. Jeju Island, no? Pag sinabi mo yan, no? Pagkatapos sa pinakababa, idagdag mo na nabasa ko lang po ito sa isang post at kinapi-paste ko lang. Pag sinabi mong ganyan, actually, more people than not, no, read only the first part and fail to read the second part. No? Akala nila pupunta ka talaga sa Siargao, sa Boracay, sa South Korea, no? Kasi hindi na nila narating yung panghuli, no, na ipinost mo. Okay? So, ayun ang mga bagay-bagay na nare-realize natin ngayon, no? Sometimes nagkakaroon tayo ng katuwaan, no, sa mga ganyan, no? We fool our friends by posting something at the beginning of our post and then giving it a twist at the last part, which only goes to show that the attention span is very, very short. Okay? It would be good if we can, if we can come up with things like this, di ba? We can create YouTube channels, no? We can post movies and other videos like Netflix, no? Or we can do TikTok. And to be sure, no, yung mga styles na mga ito, no, the approaches of YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok are the ones that are very, very attractive to our students, and they are the ones that get their attention, no? They are the ones that get their attention. Now, the key, therefore, to getting the attention and the focus of our students in our classrooms when they come back, no, would be a combination of visuals and stories, no? Stories, ang isang napakagandang paraan, no, para makuha yung kanilang mga attention. Okay? Why? Because our brains are wired for stories, no? Okay? Matanda, no, middle-aged, pag sinabi mong, let me tell you a story, no, instantly, attention is piqued, di ba? Okay? At may tsansa na makukuha natin ng atensyon ng mga bata, no? And this is very, very important since 70% of everything that we learn would be through a story, according to Martin, way back in 2010, no? And so, napakaganda na approach yung magkwento tayo at lagyan natin ng visuals, no? Kasi dito talaga pumapasok ang material sa isip ng mga bata, no? Is there a science to this, no? Is there something in studies that bear truth, no, to this declaration that our brains are wired for stories? And for sure, no. You know why we get easily transported into the narrative of a story, no? There are some stories na mula beginning hanggang end, talagang pumapasok tayo sa mismong daloy ng kwento, di ba? Yung pagpasok na ito sa mismong daloy ng kwento, the way we are drawn, no, into the story, the way we are, integrated as if we are a character in the story, although a bystander, kumbaga, no? Although merely a watcher in the story, is based on scientific studies, no? This is called narrative transportation. Processing facts activates the language part of the brain, according to Broca and Wernick's studies, no? If a character is running in a story, okay, we who are listening to the story is agitated, no? Is affected. Why? Because if we read a story where the character is running, or if we listen to a story where the character is running or moving around or jumping or in action, then the motor cortex in our brain is activated. It is engaged in response. When a story describes how a person or an object or a thing feels, the somatosensory cortex is stimulated. Another part of the brain is activated. Okay? When you share in the emotions of the characters in the book that you are reading, or in a story that you are listening to, or in a movie that you are watching, the limbic system becomes activated. Okay? So various things that happen, various things that you react to in a story is actually impinging on various parts of our brain. And certain chemicals in our brain are in fact released, just like cortisol, or what is known as the concentration chemical. As the story goes to an interesting point, more cortisol is released by the brain. And the more that we concentrate and focus on the events in the story. A second chemical is oxytocin, which is called the moral molecule. It is this chemical that is released when we have encounters of social interaction in the story. And it is this that makes us evaluate certain ethical values, certain moralities. This hormone, this chemical, is produced by the hypothalamus, and is released during social interaction events in a particular story. So there is a science to storytelling that supports the idea that much of what we learn, and much of what we react to are stimulated by stories. So the idea, therefore, of going back to the classroom must be accompanied by an imagination on our part on how to make the classroom more interesting by the means of storytelling. And we can never underestimate the power of a good story. Okay? At the core of learning is that a really good story worth listening to. Look at the cave paintings of olden times, di ba? People taught each other, people recorded their experiences and told them to other people, narrated them to other people through cave paintings, in the caves of France, for example, in other caves of Europe. Now, we know a good story when we read Facebook posts, when we view Instagram photos, when you read tweets, or when we view memes, in our social media pages. Okay? So, ito yung mga tumatawag talaga sa ating pansin, At ito talaga yung mas may tsansang tumatak, sa ating mga isip. Lesson, maybe a very good way of keeping students' attention in the classroom at a time when they have been accustomed already, to social media accounts, to social media stories, would be to bring some aspects of social media into the classroom, Okay? And it would be a very wonderful lesson if we move forward now rather than go back to the old styles that we were using before this digital explosion in education came about. Okay, what makes a good story? Four eyes. Okay, I best refer to them as the four eyes of a good story. The first is interest. A story is good if it piques our interest. If the title, in the first place, will already spur in us a kind of a reaction, a positive reaction to listen further to how the story would unfold. Second, it should instruct. Okay? Many of our stories are instructive in the sense that they are not merely for entertainment. Many of the entertainment stories, of course, also have a hidden instruction to them, a hidden lesson to them, no? Pati yung mga kwento ng mga duwende, kwento ng mga prinsipe na ginakwento sa atin noon ng ating mga lolo't lola, no? Simple entertainment lang sila kung tutuusin, pero once you start reflecting on uh, on the lessons of the story, then a wonderful page of instructions, no, would be revealed to you, no. Lagi nilang sinasabi nung mga bata pa kami, no, pagkatapos ng kwento, pagkatapos ng isang pagbabasa ng isang kwento, laging tinatanong ng teacher, what is the moral lesson of the story, no? Or what is the lesson in the story? Yan lagi, no? So there is a lesson in every story. A third I is that the story should involve people, no? Okay? It should involve the listener. It should be participative, therefore, no? If your attention wanders around during the story, then it is not a good story. But if you begin to ask questions, no? If you begin to respond to the story, no? The questions need not be verbally enunciated, di ba? It can be questions in your mind, no? Questions that are running around as the narrator goes on with his story, no? That's involvement already, okay? And the fourth I is, of course, it should inspire. It should make you think of new ideas, no? It should make you plan, no, on new ventures, on new embarkments, no. It should inspire you to be better, no, than you were before. It should instigate in you certain plans, no, certain ideas, no, that you would do in the future. Okay, so these I's, no, interest, instruction, involvement, and inspiration make a good story. Okay? And you know, good stories also follow what we call in communications Freytag's pyramid, or the dramatic arc. There is an exposition, and then after the exposition, there is an inciting incident, some kind of a spur, no, so that we can see a rising action, no, developing, no, until a climax is reached. No, after the climax, the story doesn't cut itself short, but it continues to a falling action, no, before there is a resolution of the main issue and the denouement, no, is reached, no, yung final account of the story, no, yung final and they live happily ever after part of the story. Okay, this is what we are challenged with, no. How can we come up with a good story in our classrooms, no, given the changing technological advantages that we have? Or how can we integrate a good story in educational technological strategies? Yeah, no? Okay. Of course, no? Let us not forget the visuals, no? Let us give them pie. Let us give them a piece of the pie, no? Using visuals to complement a good story will make your presentation participative, interactive, and exciting, no? And it is the pie that makes the story good for the eating, di ba? And it will be consumed wonderfully and satisfactorily by students. This is where we come in with scenarios, correct? No? Scenarios are in fact stories, but scenarios are stories where we create the framework and we let the students participate in the story by involving themselves in the scenario. In the old normal, we normally used lectures to create stories, no? We had them play certain roles in a skit, no? Or in a dramatization of something. We can also come up with problems before and let them solve the problems, or we can give them material so that they can report in the classroom, no, in a kind of a flip style, no? And we can group them into teams so that they could have some materials that they could, you know, discuss among each other. And in that manner, there is a kind of a peer teaching that happens, no, with the teammates explaining to each other various concepts, discussing content and concepts and resolving issues within the material. In the new normal, however, no, what we can have in the classroom is a virtual scenario, something that we have been discussing in the past sessions, no, of this seminar. And what is a virtual scenario? Basically, gleaning all the information that we have had so far, it is simply an online educational problem or case, no? Different from the old scenario-based learning na ginawa natin noon, which is, in-person na tinatawag, no? Nandun mismo yung mga tao, nakikita nyo face-to-face, interacting, resolving matters or issues, and then playing them out in a kind of a resolutory presentation, no? Ang difference nito, online siya, no? Online siya. Can we do that when we come back to our classroom? Yes, of course, no? Instead of the old style before, where we do skits, role plays physically, we can come up with virtual scenarios which students can solve using their gadgets or using their connectivities, using their cell phones or using their tablets, no, or laptops if they have them. No? It's designed to help students explore various factors and aspects of the problem, provide feedback on problem solving and decision making. No? So here are the two components really of a virtual scenario. There is a story, no? The problem or the case, and it targets our cognitive thinking. It targets the students' ways of thinking, analyzing, evaluating, and presenting the results of these processes. Okay, so ayun, what have we done so far? No, what we have done so far is reflect on the new technologies, no, that we have had in the information age, in the screen age, the great screen age, and how good stories, no, could be used within the classroom using these new technologies to inspire students to learn, no, and combining therefore what we had pre-COVID and what we have now in terms of educational technologies post-COVID. So, eto yung mga dadalhin natin, sana, pagbalik natin sa classroom. Okay, so this workshop is on how to build virtual scenarios on our ends now, applying the lessons that we have had in the previous 2 days. Okay, so step one in designing our virtual scenarios is to lay down our learning outcomes. Okay, you should have well-devised objectives containing the action verb, the conditions, the standards, audience. No, well, lagi-lagi yung sineseminar ito, no, outcome-based education or outcome-based learning. No, but we have to use the school standards, no? And each school would have developed its own ways of dealing with particular experiences or particularities within their own areas. No, and we would not expect, of course, no, teachers to come up with the same learning styles and learning approaches, no, as we go through this workshop. No? But one rule of thumb that we can say, that we can lay down, is to be minimalist muna. No? Later on, we shall design elaborate scenarios. No, but in this workshop, let's focus on being minimalist and avoid, no, certain complications that we can introduce later on, no? But even later on, no, kapag gumagawa na kayo ng virtual scenario sa mga estudyante, no, it would be best to start with, simple scenarios and work your way towards more complex scenarios as time goes on, no? The more complex virtual scenarios are seen in higher education institutions, no, especially in medical schools, where virtual scenarios help students, diagnose illnesses, sicknesses and diseases, and virtual scenarios also guide them or walk them through a series of steps in, say, surgery. No, so eto yung mga papasok sila sa isang electronic page where they choose what to do, no, in certain situations, and each choice that they make leads them to another scene. And that new scene will again give them a series of choices, no? And if they choose a wrong one, they go back to the first choice. Okay? Ginagamit din ito ng mga estudyante sa criminology in certain games, no? They are given a picture at maraming mga ganito sa ating mga Facebook pages kung fina-follow nyo sila, no? Ito yung mga detective pictures na makikita natin minsan, no? So there is a picture that they show you, and then they tell you the scenario, and then you have to look for clues in the picture, right? No, so that you can solve, no, the whodunit na sinasabi nila. So you could be a detective yourself, no, and identify the culprit, identify the criminal in these scenarios, no. So ito yung mga very complicated na scenarios na pwede nating i-design. We need special applications for that. We need special programs to do that. But in our classrooms, no, we can design simple enough learning scenarios to bring across our material and content and evoke certain outcomes, no, on the student's part. So yan ang isang gagawin natin muna, be a minimalist, and later on you move on towards more complicated scenarios. Here is an example in Philippine history, no. I teach Philippine history. No, correct that. No, I taught past tense. No? I taught Philippine history in St. Louis University, college division. No, for some 30 years. No, before I retired in 2016. So medyo mahaba-haba ng konti yung ating experience sa pagtuturo ng Philippine history, sociology, political science, and the social sciences in general, no? So ngayon hindi na ako nagti-teach, no? I don't handle classes anymore. I'm a non-teaching personnel, no? And that's why I am required to report on site sa Philippine College of Criminology. Our teaching component, no? Our teachers, our faculty are all online, no? There is no teacher in the Philippine College of Criminology who goes on site to teach students in person, no? And we are seeking approval from the CHED to continue with this full online courses, no? Next year, no? The CHED Memorandum 16 series of 2022 declare that there will be no more full-time online courses except upon the approval of the CHED, and we are looking for that approval, no? Because we would like to continue on, no, with our online classes, with our virtual classes, no. And that's a parenthesis, no. This is an example from Philippine history, no, a series of outcomes, no. At the end of the virtual scenario on the Philippines a century hence, the students should be able to, number one, create a decision tree for the independent Filipino nation vis-a-vis establishing diplomatic ties with 3 European and 2 American countries. 2, compare and contrast the liberal from the conservative approach to the Philippine condition. And 3, summarize the options of Spain with regard to colonial policy toward the Philippines by the 1890s. No? Those of you who don't teach Philippine history may well recall from your basic history classes in high school, no, or college, the book of Rizal entitled "The Philippines a Century Hence." No, it's not really a full-blown book the way we know books right now. It's an article, no, rather lengthy, so it could be called a book, serialized in La Solidaridad, no, after the publication of Rizal's Noli Me Tangere, no. Okay. So this article, this extended article, pictured the archipelago at the brink of a political upheaval, no? And Rizal threw his attention to the future, okay? And he tried to imagine what the Philippines would be in the future, no? He said, I will choose 100 years because 100 years is just right for a prognosis, he said, no? shorter than a century hence would not be, shorter than 100 years from now would not be very practical, because we would not be able to make informed political choices about the future. But longer than 100 years would not also be practical, since we would be looking at too many unknowns, he said. No, so he argued that 100 years from now would be a very good period to analyze what the Philippines would become, and how the Philippines would be facing other countries of the world. And that's why he entitled his article, and he wrote his article on the Philippines 100 years from now. Okay, so that's the article. We make the students, however, we assign the students this series of articles for their asynchronous material. No? Have them pace themselves, no, on reading it. And in the synchronous time that will come after the asynchronous lessons, we can have a very short virtual scenario trying to assess how deep their understanding was of the article. Okay, and this can be examples of outcomes, no, for that kind of an activity. Okay, so yeah, in other areas, of course, in other specializations, no, you can have your own learning outcomes in science, in technology, in mathematics, no, or in philosophy, if you teach philosophy in senior high school, STS, no, understanding the self, no, and other such areas, no. But this example is on Araling Panlipunan, no, okay? Philippine history, to be precise, no. Step 2 would now be structuring the scenario. No? After coming up with your outcomes, plan now how the scenario would go on. No? Consider the following. No? Is the scenario for an individual learner, a special examinee, no? Or a special learner, or for a group, or for the entire class as a whole? No? And how long do you want your scenario to run? No? Rule of thumb is give it some 15 to 20 minutes for individuals and up to an hour for groups. No, so you have, say, 50 in a class. No, you want the class to perform the scenario individually. No, so that they could have individual scores or individual performances. So allot 15 to 20 minutes for individuals. But if you divide the class into groups, no, and have the groups work out the scenario with discussions, interactions, no, collaborations, etc., give them more time, no, 30 minutes to an hour, maybe, for groups, no, but give them time to interact, give them time to collaborate, give them time to discuss things among themselves, no. For individuals who will be working alone, no, 15 to 20 minutes would be enough, no. The third consideration is that how many points of interactivity would you like to include? Now, points of interactivity refer to decision markers in a scenario. No? In a story, for example, the story would run, no, until the main actor or the main character or the main protagonist stumbles upon a dilemma. Right? A dilemma in the story would be a point of interactivity. Imagine a character walking along the road and then finally reaching two divergences in the road, di ba? So makakarating siya sa isang punto na merong isang yung road liliko sa kanan o liliko sa kaliwa. Yeah, so dalawa ang pagpipilian niya, no? That is a point of interactivity in a story. Okay? A point in the story where the protagonist would have to choose between two or more choices, no? Okay? That is also to be considered. Now, how many choices would you place at an interaction point, no? Okay? How many choices, no, would you be presenting to the students, no? And how would you like the scenario to unfold for every choice? Okay, how would you like feedback to happen with every interaction point. Okay, let me try to illustrate this with something else. But first, we should have a workshop, no? Workshop 1 for 10 minutes is planning out muna the virtual scenario in your particular field of specialization. Okay, so kung math ka, math. Kung science ka, science. Kung UTS ka, understanding the self, UTS. Kung STS, science, technology, and society, doon ka, no? Which is more sociology, no? Than the other courses, no? And then write out a title, no? And one virtual scenario learning outcome. Okay, so we will use the example in Philippine history that I presented a while ago. The title is this one, no? Okay. The Philippines a century hence. No? And there are 3 outcomes, but for your workshop, just write out one virtual scenario learning outcome. Okay, and this exercise will be good for 10 minutes. Okay, so I will mark it down on my clock. No, your 10 minutes should start now. Okay, 10 minutes. Simple enough exercise, right? Just write out a title and one virtual scenario learning outcome.
Whenever I see girls and boys selling lanterns on the streets, I remember the child in the manger as he sleeps. Wherever there are people giving gifts, exchanging cards, I believe that Christmas is truly in their hearts. Let's light our Christmas trees for a bright tomorrow, where nations are at peace and all are one in God.
Let's sing Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. This season may we never forget the love we have for Jesus. Let him be the one to guide us as another new year starts. And may the spirit of Christmas be always in our hearts.
In every prayer and every song, the community unites, celebrating the birth of our Savior Jesus Christ. Let love like that starlight on that first Christmas morn lead us back to the manger where Christ the child was born. So come, let us rejoice, come and sing a Christmas carol with one big joyful voice, proclaim the name of the Lord.
Let's sing Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. This season may we never forget the love we have for Jesus. Let him be the one to guide us as another new year starts. And may the spirit of Christmas be always in our hearts. Let's sing Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. This season may we never forget the love we have for Jesus. Let him be the one to guide us as another new year starts. And may the spirit of Christmas be always in our hearts.
My idea of a perfect Christmas is to spend it with you, in a party or dinner for two. Anywhere would do. Celebrating the Yuletide season always lights up our lives. Simple pleasures are made special too when they're shared with you. Looking through some old photographs, faces and friends we'll always remember. Watching busy shoppers rushing about in the cool breeze of December. Sparkling lights all over town, children's carols in the air. By the Christmas tree, a shower of stardust on your hair. I can't think of a better Christmas than my wish coming true. And my wish is that you'd let me spend my whole life with you. Looking through some old photographs, faces and friends we'll always remember. Watching busy shoppers rushing about in the cool breeze of December. Sparkling lights all over town, children's carols in the air. By the Christmas tree, a shower of stardust on your hair. I can't think of a better Christmas than my wish coming true. And my wish is that you'd let me spend my whole life with you. My idea of a perfect Christmas is spending it with you. Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Heart, now hear the angels sing, a new King born today. And man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Trumpets sound and angels sing, listen to what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. While shepherds watch their flock by night, they see a bright new shining star. They hear a choir sing, the music seemed to come from afar. Now Joseph and his wife Mary came to Bethlehem that night. They found no place to bear her child, not a single room was in sight. Hark now, hear the angels sing, a new king born today, and man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. Trumpets sound and angels sing, listen to what they say, that man will live forevermore because of Christmas Day. By and by they find a little nook in a stable all forlorn, and in a manger cold and dark, Mary's little boy was born. Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say.
Let's wait for the music to
Mary's boy child.
to resume. Okay, so there we are, no? So there is a very interesting scenario here in the chat box, no? Sir Ed Sison of MAPE7, no, who has the title now, Eustress and Distress Learning Outcome. Differentiate eustress and distress. Appreciate the importance of coping with one's stress. No? So these are two learning outcomes that he is now targeting, no, in his subject. No? The next question that Sir Ed would like to entertain now is, what stories can we create, no, where we can, you know, exemplify, no, or you know, where we can tackle the two concepts of eustress and distress. Okay, what I suggested is this, no, maybe one day, no, Miss Hidalyn Diaz is a weightlifter. One day she goes to market at SM. She sees all the meat choices and thinks, no, and there, no, there's the beginning of your story. Okay, so ayun, COVID-19 daw yung kanyang case. Okay, that's also very good, no? So try to think of you know, these kinds of inventive and creative stories, no, that you would develop, no? First, so Sir Ed plans to show a video, no, as the springboard, and then he would now like to create a scenario or build a scenario using COVID-19 as the major condition. Okay, so let us see, no? Work this out, Sir Ed, so that we can, you know, develop it. Okay, how about sa tailoring, no? So, Ma'am Josephine. Yes, tailoring. What would be your outcome, Miss Josephine? No, Josephine. What is your intended outcome dun sa tailoring? Think of a particular topic in your subject matter, and then think of one particular concept that you would like to, you know, discuss or explain, and then let's try to build a scenario, no, on this. Okay, so like for example, sa tailoring in terms of, say, designs, no, fashion designs, no, if you want to discuss, no, some concepts regarding fashion designs in your tailoring course, no, you can come up with, you know, a situation. No? A scenario is simply a story, no, a situation where you place your students into, so that they could think, no, of various ways. So you could say, you are a fashion designer, no, you would like to participate in a contest sponsored by your school on the design of a uniform for PE classes. Mga tipong ganyan, no? Okay. You're placing them now in a particular scenario. You are putting them in a particular case or problem, which they will later on resolve by themselves. Okay, so a scenario is simply a setting for a story, no? Okay? A setting for a story. Just like, for example, in the Philippine history subject that we used a while ago, no, you are putting the student in that part of history where Rizal was writing the article, "The Philippines a Century Hence." Okay? Oh, Sir Alex say sa science po, pwede po ba yung field trip inside the cell? Yes, no? Yes, no? Where your students would imagine themselves to ride in a certain vehicle which can be, reduced, no? To a very, very small size, no? To a quantum size, kumbaga, similar to the Ant-Man, no? In the Marvel cinematic universe, no? And that vehicle where your students are in would be injected into the cell, right? No? And they would now explore the cell. Yung tipong ganon, no? So scenarios are settings in a story, no? And it depends, no? It depends on your subject matter. It depends on your field of specialization, no? I wonder if you had seen that new teleserye on GMA about a student, no, who was transported back to the period of Rizal, right? No, and she was inserted in the story of the Noli Me Tangere. That's the thing that we are talking about. Although we don't have that very elaborate and very expensive set, no, in that teleserye, we can do the same thing in our virtual scenarios, no. Okay. You insert them into the Noli Me Tangere, you insert them into a science experiment, you insert them into a baseball field, no? You insert them into a swimming pool, mga tipong ganyan, no? So scenarios are settings, and we are trying to weave a story, no, based on these settings. Okay, si Maria Clara at Ibarra. Yan, no? Sa Asian history, pwede po yung pangangalaga sa likas na yaman, sustainable use. Yes, no? Yes, no? And you create a story about trees talking, maybe, or the mountain conversing with the river, yung mga tipong ganyan, no? And you insert the student, no, in that kind of a setting. Okay? Science 6, a journey to discover the amazing digestive system. And let them watch the video from Cine Escuela. Okay? So, eto yung mga examples natin, no? By the way, no, your comments seem to include one important concept in digital learning into our discussions, no? There have been two already in the comments who would like to jumpstart or springboard their lessons on videos, no? Now this is a very wonderful idea, no? Starting off with videos and then creating the story out of the video and inserting your students inside the story in the video, no? That's where the video springboard becomes a virtual scenario. Okay, those of you who are teaching geography, no, can use Earth Google, no, Earth.Google or Google Earth, no, as your springboard. Okay, you insert your students inside the Earth Google map, no, and then let them find their way to a certain, destination, okay, using Google Maps, no, okay, or Earth Google Maps, no. Have anybody of you used Waze, no, or Google Maps when you navigate yourself through a certain transportation route, no? So kayo na gumagamit ng mga Waze, kayo na gumagamit ng Google Maps para makarating sa isang lugar, no? you can use the same with your students, making it a virtual scenario. No, Google Maps or Earth Google is actually what we call AR. No, and if we do it on the streets, no, kapag nagta-travel tayo, nagda-drive tayo, at sinusundan natin yung Google Maps o sinusundan natin yung Waze, gumagamit tayo actually ng tinatawag na augmented reality or AR. No? What AR does is take reality, digitize it, and put in the landmarks, no? The names of the streets. So the reality is augmented, meaning dinagdagan natin ng isang layer of information yung digitized reality para makita natin yung mga kalsada, yung mga landmark, yung mga building, at yun ang sinusundan natin sa Waze, di ba? Yun ang sinusundan natin sa Google Maps kapag gusto natin pumunta sa isang lugar, no? So in real life, we are already using AR or augmented reality, no? Sa klase, lalong-lalo sa geography, lalong-lalo sa history, lalong-lalo sa mga social sciences, we can use AR also, no? Augmented realities, no? Use Waze, use Google Maps, use what do you call this? Use Earth Google, no, or Google Earth. Place our students inside the map and let them navigate their way, no, to a certain destination. By that, we are using AR, augmented reality, to create our virtual scenarios, no, and it will be very, very fun, no, for the students to do that. Okay. So let's continue. No? Let's continue. This workshop is becoming more and more exciting. Step 3 is constructing now our concept map. Okay, a concept map is nothing more than a relationship of several steps in our story. Okay, so mula sa isang sitwasyon, mula sa isang setting na naisip natin, gagawa tayo ng isang kwento. Di ba? Gagawa tayo ng isang kwento. So, magsisimula yung kwento sa isang sitwasyon, di ba? Kagaya ng sinabi natin kanina, pag-aaralan natin yung cell. Okay, sasakay tayong lahat sa isang maliit na, sa isang jeep na self-contained at paliliitin natin yung jeep sa isang quantum size at i-inject natin sa isang cell and we can start our exploration. That's the start. Okay, for life support for MAPE, no, we can start by visualizing the student at a situation where he has to save somebody, no, and perform CPR or some kind of revival process, di ba? So the start is the beginning of the scenario. Okay, the start will also now give the participant, meaning the student or ourselves, no, a choice, di ba? Okay. Meron tayong isang question dito, no? So nandito tayo sa isang part. Ano ang may nakita tayo dun sa ating biyahe sa loob ng cell? Meron tayong nakita isang ganitong shape. Ano kaya siya? So we give the student two options, no? We give the student a chance to identify correctly what is that shape that they encountered inside the cell. Or in life-saving situations sa MAPE, sa PE, physical education, nandun na yung kaklase mo nalulunod sa swimming pool. Ano yung choices mo, no? Ang choices mo, sagipin siya yourself or tawagin yung instructor or hayaan siyang malunod. Di po ganyan. So we give them two choices. One, of course, is the correct choice. No, we will call the blue cell or the blue square, the rectangle there, the correct choice. And of course, we intentionally will give a false choice, di ba? An incorrect choice, no? So that the student can choose, no? Pag pinili niya yung blue, tama siya. Pag pinili niya yung cream ba ito? Pag pinili niya yung hindi blue, mali siya, no? Pero padadaanin natin siya sa course ng events, no? So pag pinili niya yung blue, ito yung magiging resulta at yun yung magiging ultimate na result. Pero pag pinili niya yung hindi blue, makakarating siya sa isang undesirable result. At pag nakarating siya sa desirable result, may point siya. Pag nakarating siya sa undesirable result, uulitin niya yung proseso. This is a very simple concept map for a particular scenario, no? So sa ating kwento halimbawa, pag pinili ng estudyante yung tamang sagot, naku, tuloy-tuloy siya, no? Sa tamang direksyon, sa tamang daan. Pero pag pinili niya yung maling sagot, tuloy na tuloy siya hanggang sa isang part na kailangan niyang simulan ulit yung whole process. At harinawa, kapag nag-start ulit siya, pipiliin na niya yung correct choice. Okay? So, the concept map, no? Okay? Yan, no? So, AP6, sabi ni Miss Eden, no? Si Ma'am Eden, no? Virtual trip to museum, napahalagahan ang ambag ni Andres Bonifacio, ang katipunan at himagsikan. Ayan. So, you can give choices, no? Of the ambag ni Bonifacio, no? Okay? So, kung ang choice mo dito sa blue ay, ang ambag ni Bonifacio ay gisingin ang pananaw ng mga Pilipino na kailangang magkaroon ng ibang pamamaraan ng pagbabago kaysa mga libro o kaysa mga mapayapang paraan, no? Okay? So nasa blue siya, no? Pero pag yung isang choice mo halimbawa, ang pinili ni Bonifacio ay suportahan pa rin ang kilusang propaganda para mabigyan ng karagdagang reforma ang Pilipinas. Ayun. So isang tamang choice at isang hindi masyadong magandang choice, no? So, develop your concept maps like this. No, it's a very concept map, a very simple concept map, but you can make it more, interesting for the student, right? No, like for example, no, let's take a look at this concept map. No, so when the student starts the virtual scenario, he is given a choice immediately. Right, no? The start, therefore, is called an interaction point already, no? Where the student is made to choose between two options, no? If the student chooses the correct option, then he is led to another interaction point, where he is made to choose again between two options. If he chooses the correct option, then he is led through a process of events until he reaches now another intersection point, no? And that intersection point will give him again two choices. One, a correct choice, and the other, an incorrect choice. If he continues choosing the correct choices, no? The blue route, no? The blue path, it will lead him ultimately to the correct outcome. But if he chooses the incorrect choices, no, he is led through a series of developments, no? Kumbaga akala niya tama pa rin, no? Okay? Yan, so dadaan siya sa mga series, pero ang kakahinatnan niya, incorrect outcome. Okay? At pag incorrect outcome ang kanyang kahihinatnan, babalik siya sa start, no? And he will go through the process all over again, no? So this is a more elaborate concept map, no, than the previous one that we have seen. The important thing is, once we are able to construct our story, no, then we can develop it in this manner. Okay? So yung mga pumasok sa cell para tignan yung iba't ibang bahagi ng cell, di ba? Pag tama yung kanilang identification sa isang part ng cell, they can proceed to the next part, no? Okay. And again to the next part, and again to the next part, until they reach the exit point, palabas sa cell, di ba? Pero kung mali lagi yung kanilang identification, matatrap sila sa loob ng cell, no? In a series of circles, hindi sila makakalabas sa cell. Yan, no? Ang isang pwedeng mangyari, no? Sa Bonifacio naman, sa Bonifacio na kwento, so imagine yourself to be a member of Bonifacio's inner circle. Yan, no? So, pag ganito yung decision ni Bonifacio, tama. Papunta siya sa correct outcome, which is Philippine Revolution, no? Pero pag mali yung decision ni Bonifacio, matrap siya sa isang series of steps at papasok ulit siya doon sa start, no? So help Bonifacio reach the right path, Parang ganun yung question, no? So you can do this with math even, no? In mathematics, you can come up with a scenario saying, Pedro wants to visit Maria, no? And Maria is living on the second floor of an apartment building. So Pedro cannot go through the normal door process because he does not have the key. So what he does is take a ladder, kumuha siya ng hagdan, at linagay niya yung hagdan sa may bintana ni Maria. Yan, no? Okay. Ang hagdan ay may length na 10 meters. Diba? At ipinosisyon ni Pedro ang hagdan, no, sa angle na 30 degrees. Okay. Mararating kaya niya ang window ni Maria kung ang window ni Maria ay 25 meters ang taas mula sa lupa? Yan, no? So, pipili ngayon, magko-compute ngayon yung estudyante ng tamang angle ng ladder, di ba? Para marating niya yung window ni Maria. Kung mali yung angle na pinili ng estudyante, hindi mararating ni Pedro si Maria. Babalik siya sa start, di ba? Pero kung tama yung angle na na-compute ng estudyante, mararating niya yung window ni Maria at bababa sila ni Maria. Yan, no? Pag nakababa na sila, nagising ang tatay ni Maria. Yan, no? Gaano kabilis sila dapat tumakbo? Velocity, di ba? Velocity para maiwasan yung tatay ni Maria. So, mga ganong klaseng mga konsepto, no? I am not a math teacher, no? In fact, to tell you the truth, and I am being very, very honest here, no? I took up the social sciences as my field of specialization because math simply confuses me. Math confounds me, no? So that's why I took up the social sciences. But these are things that you can do in math, no? Come up with velocity problems, come up with speed problems, no? Come up with angle problems, etc. And you are in the best position to do this, no? So, ayun. Okay. Now, once you get you construct your concept map, no? You can now do something like this. Okay, let's see this example from Jose Rizal's The Philippines a Century Hence. No, the social science teachers, the history teachers, the Araling Panlipunan teachers can relate to this example.
Like I want one.
I hope you can also do the same for the other courses. Okay, so what would be our start? Our start would be placing the student at the crossroads of Spanish colonial policy, near the 19th century. Okay, so pagpihit ng 19th century, no? That means the last 2 decades of the 1800s, no? So papunta na tayo sa 20th century. The 20th century is the 1900s. The 19th century is the 1800s. So at the turn of the 19th century, mga 1880s, 1890s, yan, no? The Noli has just been written. So ibig sabihin, tapos na ang 1887, no? Because that was the year when the Noli was written and published. So mga 1890s na tayo, no? The colony's relations with the mother country was at a tenuous stage. Question for the student: what would be Spanish colonial policy for the next century? So that's the start, no? And you make him choose between this, no? 5 possible choices. Okay, the first choice A, is exterminate all the Indios, no? Which was actually being entertained at the time. Nung panahon na yan, isa talagang option ng Spain, patayin tayo lahat, no? Genocide, no? Genocide. Isa yan na talagang pinagdiskasan sa Cortes, no? Pangalawa, panatilihin silang mahirap para wala silang lakas, no? Keep them poor and powerless. Option C is keep them ignorant, no? Brutalize them, sabi nila, no? Lang brutalize them, keep them as brutes, no? Brutes, bruto, walang isip. Yan, no? Ibig sabihin, huwag nyo silang hayaan na mag-enroll sa mga eskwelahan, no? Okay? Hayaan nyo yung mga eskwelahan para lang sa mga Kastila at mga Mestizo, pero yung mga natives, keep them ignorant. Okay. So, the first three options are, negativist options, di ba? Talagang pang-suppress, no? Yung mga natives. Ang pang-apat na option, medyo positive option, di ba? Give them the reforms they demand. Yan, ibigay yung mga reformang hinihingi nila, no? Para naman maging masaya sila at makuha nila yung kanilang gustong marating. Yan, no? And the fifth option is read the briefing reports coming from the colony. Yan. Okay? Read the briefing reports coming from the colony. So, ang senaryo pwedeng ganito, no? Okay. Iniisip ng hari ng Espanya kung ano ang pwede niyang gawin sa mga Pilipino. Pinatawag ka, no? Ikaw ang advisor ng hari. Ano ang ipapayo mo sa hari? Option A, option B, option C, option D, o option E. Yan, no? Ngayon, kung ipapayo mo ang option A, ano yung magiging resulta, no? The consequence of option A will be this. The empire will have to sacrifice 1/4 of her own people. Kasi gera yan, no? If they do genocide, lalaban yung mga Pilipino. 1/4 of the population of Spain would die, no? Would also die. And if 1/4 of the population of Spain would die, that would endanger also her other colonies. And perhaps, no? Perhaps the Spanish status in Europe would fall. Okay? Kung yan ang ipapayo mo. Ngayon, kung B ang ipapayo mo, ano yung B? Keep them poor. Di ba? Keep them poor. Okay. Ang consequence nito, hindi magiging epektibo. Bakit? Kasi even if this policy had been already implemented in the 1700s and in the early 1800s, hindi napigilan ang paglabas ng mga Rizal, ng mga Del Pilar, ng mga Gregorio Sanciangco, ang mga Luna, di ba? Okay. So even if they implemented this policy already, the empire had not prevented the rise of the new middle class, no? And you had, the Lunas, the Gatchalians, no? The Hidalgos, no? The Rizals, no? Okay, who were able to get themselves educated abroad, no? If not in the country. Okay. Letter C. Ano ba yung letter C? Make them brutes, di ba? Keep them ignorant, no? But this also has not succeeded. Okay. The policy had failed to prevent the emergence of the Ilustrados, no? The thinking class, no? Who had launched the propaganda movement. Okay. Pag di naman, no? Okay. Ano na nga ba yung option D? Give them the reforms, di ba? If you give them the reforms, the Philippines would use the reforms to unite themselves, make themselves stronger, and make a bid for independence. Okay? Yung letter E, read the briefing reports, magbasa ka muna, hari. Yan, no? Delikado yan, no? I-advise mo sa hari, tatanungin ka ng hari, anong gagawin ko? Tapos ang advisor, sasabihin niya, Sir King, mabuti po yata, basahin mo muna yung mga news, di ba? Okay? So pag ganyan, okay, review more carefully the conditions and prospects for maintaining the Philippine colony for the empire, medyo hindi yata magandang i-advise yan sa hari, no? Baka kung ano pang mangyari sa iyo, no? Okay. So summarize the concept map therefore. Pag yung tatlo ang ginawa, no? Okay. Ano yung tatlo na ito? Exterminate them, letter A. Letter B, keep them poor, no? Letter C, keep them illiterate. Ultimately, no? Maglilid yan sa revolution. And revolution will lead to independence, no? Pag di naman, give them the reforms that they need, magre-result yan sa autonomy. Okay? And If revolution leads to independence, autonomy will also later on lead to independence. That is your concept map. No? So the concept map has a beginning. It has 5 choices. Each choice will have a consequence, and 3 of the consequences will lead to this option, which will ultimately lead to independence. Granting the Filipinos reforms will lead them to autonomy, and autonomy will lead them to independence. No? Does that follow Rizal's article? Yes, no? Because what Rizal wrote in the Philippines a century hence was precisely that independence was inevitable. No? Ang sinabi ni Rizal sa the Philippines a century hence, in 100 years, whether Spain like it or not, magiging malaya ang Pilipinas kahit anong gawin ng Spain. The ultimate result is independence. Okay? So that will be our concept map, no? Ang task ng estudyante, navigate the map, no? Navigate the map, no? At kailangang manavigate niya yung tamang paraan papunta sa independence. Okay? So in your own areas, in your own topics, do the same. Okay? Ito yung choices, yung choice na to papunta dyan, yung choice na to papunta dyan, choice na to papunta dyan, at ultimately, ito yung pupuntahan ng advise the king to read some more. Have advised the king to read some more, babalik ka sa start. Okay? Papipiliin mo na naman siya. No? Okay? So there. No? Step 4, another, in the next step, you create your virtual scenario on an accessible application. I use PowerPoint. No? We create and develop a digital file, no, for each leaf of the concept map. So bawat choice na ito ay isang leaf ang tawag. Okay? So sa bawat leaf, di ba, yung start, gawan mo ng PowerPoint slide. Pwede mong gawin Google Slides, no? Okay? Or any other kind of application, no? Basta mag-start, basta gumawa ka ng isang slide dun sa application na yon for each leaf. So ilang leaves ito? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, no. 12, 13, 14. So there are 14 leaves in this scenario. Okay, so for each, you create a digital file. Okay? Gawa ka ng isang PowerPoint slide. Yan. Sa preschool po, depende sa gusto nyong haba ng scenario ninyo. Okay? Kasi a scenario can go on for several meetings. No? Okay? So, preschool man, basic ed man, college man, pwedeng maraming levels yan, pwedeng maraming settings, and you can calendar them for different sessions. Halimbawa, kung medyo pinahaba mo yung A, no? At linagyan mo pa ng ibang mga leaves dito, no? You can let the students, no, explore the options for one meeting, and then the other choice be second meeting, and then C, third meeting, so that you can get 3 choices or 3 paths, tatlong kalsada sa isang linggo. Yan, no? For elementary and for kindergarten, ganun din, no? Of course, the only thing that we need to understand is that for kindergarten, pwede tayong gumawa as many decision paths as possible. Pero yung decision, simple lang, no? Huwag mong gawing komplikado, no? Okay? But you can make the kindergarten student go through several layers while confronting very simple choices, no? Very simple choices. Okay? So ayan ang gawin mo, no? For every leaf, create a digital file. Remember to save the leaf files in a single folder like this, no? So lahat ng mga leaves nandito. Okay? So each leaf, isang slide lang ito, no? Isang slide lang siya, no? At Meron tayong start, meron tayong choices, meron tayong consequences hanggang sa independence na ano. So remember to keep them in a single folder para hindi kayo malito later on. Okay? Now, after this, no? Okay, mag-workshop tayo. Okay? So, kanina, gumawa tayo ng title at gumawa tayo ng outcome. Di ba? Now, using this as your pointers, no, the title and your outcome, continue constructing your virtual scenario with the following additional elements. Gumawa na tayo ng concept map, pero 3 levels lang muna, no? Para hindi tayo mahirapang masyado. So, 3 levels of concept maps mean 3 decision points or 3 interactive points. Okay? So, 3 interaction points lang. Huwag nating pahabain ng masyado. And then, for each leaf, you create now your files for the leaf. Okay? So, let me show you, no, an example. No? I will stop the share, and then I will share another. No? I will get it from the folder that I showed a while ago. So, this is our folder, di ba? Okay. So, I will share that. Tingnan natin, di ba? So, nakikita nyo yung folder natin. Yung track files na yan, no? Yan yung ating mga leaf files. Okay? So, let me check if you are viewing this. Are you seeing the track files? The leaf files?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? I will open one leaf file. Okay, I will open the start leaf. Yan yung start leaf ko. Okay? Yan yung start leaf. And then, I have this situation. Diba? 1899. In Spain, the Bourbons have been restored again since their ouster by the House of Savoy and the succession of 5 presidents in a single year. Alfonso XIII has been king of Spain for 3 years. He calls for his head counselor for advice on what to do with the Philippines. You are the head counselor. What will you tell the king? Yan ang scenario, no? Okay. And the student is the head counselor. He is called by the king. What will your student tell the king? You have 5 choices. Exterminate all the Indios, keep them poor and powerless, brutalize them, grant them the reforms they demand, or tell the king, King, basahin mo muna yung briefing reports. Yan, no? So this is the leaf file. Okay? So let me show you another file, no?
No po, sir.
I will stop this, no? And share with you the independence leaf file. Yung last leaf ito, no? Yung last leaf. Okay, yan, no? This is our last leaf. Philippine independence is inevitable. Okay. Hindi pa na-open. Okay. So, ulitin ko yung start file, kasi sabi niya hindi na-open. Eto, are you seeing this?
Yes po.
Okay, so there is our start file, no? In the example, the Philippines a century hence, okay? And here is the situation for the student, no? You have 1899, the Bourbons have been restored, you have a new king, no? Alfonso XIII, and he calls for his head counselor for advice. The student, no? Ito, ang nagbabasa nito, estudyante, you are the head counselor, sabi niya, no? What will you tell the kings? And you have here the choices. Okay? So, ayan, no? Let me show you another leaf, no? Okay. Let me show you another leaf, no? And this is the end leaf, no? The last leaf in the concept map. No? Wait, ito siya, no? I will share it now. No? Okay, no? Are you seeing the last leaf? Are you seeing
Yes
the
po.
last leaf? Yes,
Ako
okay. Ayan, no? So this is the last leaf, ito yung hangganan, no? Ng buong scenario, no? Philippine independence is inevitable, whether by bloody revolution or peaceful transition, Spain would be unable to prevent it. Thus, at this point, 1889, the most rational thing to do for Spain would be to grant the reforms being demanded and work the way to a peaceful and development transition. However, there is a Latin statement written by Rizal, no? Whose vote perdere Jupiter, prius dementat. No? Ano ibig sabihin nito? Kung sino ang gustong sirain ni Jupiter, ginagawa niyang siraulo. No? In English, he whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. Yan, no? Okay. So yan ang ibig sabihin ni Rizal. Okay, that's the last leaf, no? And okay, no? So let's stop that, no? And go back to our main presentation, no? Okay, so again, no? Ang gawin natin, gawa tayo ng concept map, no? Yan, no? Gawa tayo ng concept map like this. Okay, yan yung ating buong concept map, ano? Yung una, no? Okay. And then for each leaf, so sa bawat option na yan, no? Gawa tayo ng PowerPoint slide. Okay? Yan, no? Gawa tayo ng isang digital file para sa bawat leaf. So every rectangle, no, is a leaf. Okay? We showed you already what a leaf looks like. Isang PowerPoint lang yan na merong isang slide, no? Okay, i-save nyo lahat sa isang folder. Okay? And then let's try, no? We will give 15 minutes for this. Total 3 levels lang naman. And we will of course try to monitor kung medyo kulang, magdadagdag tayo ng oras. But try 15 minutes first, no? In developing your concept map and in making one PowerPoint slide for every leaf in the concept map. Okay? May mga tanong? Are there any questions before we start the second workshop? Type nyo lang sa chat box, no? Kung meron tayong mga questions. So wala? Okay, so the 15 minutes starts now.
Maaari bang ubusog-busog ng konti, madadaan sa usapan ang maaring pag-awayan. Sakali mang meron kang napapansin, sabihin lang, at kung makatuwiran ako'y uusog din kahit konti. Hindi naman buong-buo ang hinihiling ko sa iyo, ngunit kahit kapiraso maaring magkasundo tayo. Iba't ibang katuwiran ng tao sa lipunan, ngunit ang kailangan lang tayo'y huwag magtulakan. O kay raming suliranin araw-araw dumarating, dahil di kayang lutasin, hindi na rin pinapansin. Subalit kung tutusin, ang kadalasang dahilan, kaibigan ayaw nilang umusog ng kahit konti. Hindi naman buong-buo ang inihiling ko sa iyo, ngunit kahit kapiraso maano'y magkasundo tayo. Iba't ibang katuwiran ng tao sa lipunan, ngunit ang kailangan lang tayo'y huwag magtulakan. O kay raming suliraning, oras-oras dumarating, dahil di kayang lutasin, hindi na rin pinapansin. Subalit kung tutusin, iisang dahilan, kaibigan, ayaw nyo lang umusog ng kahit konti. At kung iyong kausapin, ako nama'y hindi maselan at payag, matabihan, umusog lang kahit konti. Ang aking kubo sa tabing dagat, dingding ay pawid, bubong ay nipa. Sa paligid may mga halaman at bakod na gawang kawayan. Gayak ng kubo ay kalikasan, ang kabukiran, ang buwan at bituin, pinapayungan ng punong kahoy at hinihipan ng sariwang hangin. Sa aking kubo'y may paralumang, sa aking puso'y nakalarawan, at sa pagtulog ay mayroong rosas na niyayakap ko't hinahagkan. Ang aking kubo'y dalampasigang, sa along tulad ko'y inaasam-asam. Kubong kailan may di ko'y pagpapalit, sa isang palasyong walang pag-ibig. Ganyan ang kubo, ganyan ang buhay, minsay tatawa ka, minsay malulumbay. May pagdiriwang, may kalungkutan, laging nanunukso ang kapalaran. May mga sandaling mistulang langit, ngunit pag-gising pala'y panaginip. Kaya kailangan sa gabi't araw, didiligin ng kubo ng pag-ibig. Sa aking kubo tuwing takip silim, lumang gitara ay aking kapiling. Mga awiting di malilimutan, mga harana at mga kundiman. Ang aking kubong pangkaraniwan, di man kastilyo ngunit paraiso. Kahit na mukhang bahay-bahayan, ang aking kubo'y isang tahanan. Ganyan ang kubo, ganyan ang buhay, minsay tatawa ka, minsay malulumbay. May pagdiriwang, may kalungkutan, laging nangungutya ang kapalaran. May mga sandaling akala mo'y langit, ngunit pag-ising pala'y panaginip. Kaya kailangan sa gabi't araw, didiligin ang kubo ng pag-ibig. Sa aking kubo tuwing takip silim, lumang gitara ay aking kapiling. Mga awiting di malilimutan, mga harana at mga kundiman. Ang aking kubong pangkaraniwan, di man kastilyo ngunit paraiso. Kahit na mukhang bahay-bahayan, ang aking kubo'y isang tahanan. Kubong kailan may di ko'y pagpapalit, sa isang palasyo walang pag-ibig.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Trang Lu.
Xin chào các bạn.
Và hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng tìm hiểu về một hoạt động cải thiện dinh dưỡng từ
Thank you.
mga bituin at buwan, o di kaya'y sisirin, perlas ng karagatan. Kapag sinabi ko sa'yo na ika'y iniibig, sana'y maunawaan mo na ako'y taga-daigdig, kagaya ng karamihan, karaniwang karanasan, dala-dala kahit saan, pang-araw-araw na pasan. Ako'y hindi romantiko, sa'yo'y di ko matitiyak, na pag ako'y kapiling mo, kailan may di ka iiyak. Ang magandang hinaharap, sikapin nating maabot, ngunit kung di pa maganap, sana'y huwag mong ikalungkot. Kapag sinabi ko sa'yo na ika'y sinisinta, sana yakapin mo ako, mulat ng iyong mga mata. Ang kayamanan kong dala ay pandama at kamalayan na natutunan sa iba, na nabighani sa bayan. Halina't ating pandayin isang malayang daigdig, upang doon payabungin isang malayang pag-ibig. Kapag sinabi ko sa'yo na ika'y sinusuyo, sana ibigin mo akong kasama aking mundo. Kung ika'y wala, ang palibot ko'y parang may tabi. Kung ika'y wala, ang mga mata ay may piring. Kapaligiran, nasisira ang tunay na kulay at lumalala. Kung ika'y wala, kulay abo ang langit. Kung ika'y wala, kulay dugo ang lupa. Kung ika'y wala, kulay luntian ang araw. Ang dagat ay kulay dilaw, ang sampagita ay bughaw. Kung ika'y wala, kung ika'y wala, buhay ko'y walang patutunguhan. Kung ika'y wala, o sinisintang kalayaan. Kapaligiran, parang asiwa at di na bagay at lumuluha. Kung ika'y wala, kulay abo ang langit. Kung sampagita ay bughaw kung ika'y wala. Kulay abo ang langit kung ika'y wala. Kulay dugo ang lupa kung ika'y wala. Kulay lutian ng araw, ang dagat ay kulay dilaw. Ang sampagita ay bughaw kung ika'y wala. At ang uwak kulay papel, at ang tagak kulay klabel. Kulay kalawang ang kahel kung ika'y wala. At ang gabi kulay pula, at ang buhay kulay pasa. Ang rosas ay kulay tingga kung ika'y wala. Isang araw ako'y nadalaw sa bahay tambakan. 15 mag-anak ang do'y nagsiksikan. Nagtitiis sa munting barong-barong na sira-sira. Habang doon sa isang mansyon, halos walang nakatira. Sa init ng tabla't karton, sila do'y nakakulong sa lilim ng yerong kalawang at mga sirang gulong. Pinagtagpi-tagping basurang pinatungan ng bato. Hindi ko maintindihan bakit ang tawag sa ganito ay bahay. Sinulat ko ang nakita ng aking mga mata. Ang kanilang kalagayan, ginawan ko ng kanta. Iginuhit at isinalarawan ang naramdaman. At sinangguni ko sa mga taong marami ang alam. Isang bantog na senador ang unang nilapitan ko. At dalubhasang propesor ng malaking kolehiyo. At ang pinagpala sa mundo, ang dyaryo at ang pulpito. Lahat sila'y nagkasundo na ang tawag sa ganito ay bahay. Maghapot magdamag silang kakayod kakahig. Pagdakay tutukang nakaupo lang sa sahig. Sa papag na gutay-gutay, pipiliting hihimlay. Di hamak na mainam pa ang pahingahan ng mayayamang patay. Baka naman isang araw kayo doon ay maligaw, mahipon nyo at marinig, at maamoy at matanaw. Hindi ako nangungutya, kayo na rin ang magpasya. Sa palagay ninyo kaya ito sa mata ng may likha ay bahay.
Tayo. Okay, so there, no? By now, you will have your concept maps already, and you will have one slide each for all your leaves, no? In the concept map. Okay, so ang next na gagawin na natin, pagsasamahin na natin sila. Okay? We link now the files according to the logical sequence laid down in the concept map. Okay, so we use hyperlinks dito po, no? Para kung ano man yung pagdadalhan sa atin ng senaryo, bawat pindot ng estudyante, lilipat tayo from leaf to leaf. Okay? So after we link the files, we test run the virtual scenario with our peers. Okay? So let's see, no? If we can try this. Okay, so let's test run the virtual scenario. No? Can you see the first slide?
Hindi po.
Hindi. Okay, so let's may problema sa sharing natin. Okay, so there, no? Can you see now this the first slide in the scenario?
Apo.
Okay, so let us see. The Philippines a century hence, a scenario-based learning experience. So this is our opening slide, no? And this is our setting in the scenario. Okay, so in 1899, in Spain, the Bourbons have been restored again since their ouster by the House of Savoy and a succession of 5 presidents in a single year. Okay, this is, let me check that now. Okay, so yeah, no? 1889. In Spain, the Bourbons have been restored again since their ouster by the House of Savoy and a succession of 5 presidents in a single year. Alfonso XIII has been King of Spain for 3 years. He calls for his head counselor for advice on what to do with the Philippines. You are the head counselor. What will you tell the king? Okay. Letter A, exterminate all the Indios. Letter B, keep them poor and powerless. Letter C, brutalize them. Letter D, grant them the reforms they demand. And letter E, read the briefing reports from the colony. So remember, in our concept map, each of these choices constitute one leaf, diba? So each of these choices constitute one leaf, and therefore we have here 5 choices, which means that there should be 5 leaves in our folder. Now, if notice also that each choice has a hyperlink, okay, so that if we click one choice, let's say exterminate all the Indios, we are led to another leaf. That means another slide. If we click B, we will go to another slide, letter C, and so on and so forth. Okay, so bawat choice dito, pag click mo, pupunta ka sa ibang slide, no? Let's see if this works on Zoom, no? It works on Google Meet, but dito sa Zoom yata, you have to stop share and share again the new slide. So let's see, no? Let's click A, exterminate all the Indios. Now we click that. no? Do you see the new slide?
Hindi po, sir.
Wala po.
Yeah, no? So, and it doesn't work on Zoom. But in your PowerPoint, it should go to the new slide, okay? So this is what happens, no? If you click letter A, then this new slide will enter the picture, no? Eto, no? Yan, no? No. That's not the right slide, no? It should be this. I have them open now because I anticipated that we will not be. And if we exterminate all the Indios, we will be led to this new slide, no? The window you selected is invalid. Bakit nagkakaganon yung Zoom ko? Wait, I will restart my Zoom. Seems I have too many slides open. Here, no? Here is the new slide, no? Okay. So if we click letter A in the first slide, we will be linked to this slide, no? Exterminating the Indios would mean that Spain would have to sacrifice a fourth of her population. Spain at that time had around 17.6 million people. So a fourth of that would be 4 million people. So if the Spanish Empire would choose genocide as an answer, then she would have to send her army, we would have to fight back, and the total cost to Spain would be 4 million soldiers, no? 4 million people. To do this would endanger Spain's remaining colonies as well as her standing among the European countries. Most of all, France, no? Kasi France is just above Spain on the map, no? It's just north of Spain. France will just cross the Pyrenees forest, and invade Spain. Okay, so that would happen. So therefore, letter A option would be disastrous for Spain. Okay, and there are two options again here at the bottom. No, if you click the first option, you will be directed back to the first slide, to the opening slide. No, and if you continue, if you choose letter B, you continue with the extermination plan. You will be directed to another slide. No, so if you reconsider other options, you will go to the first slide. No, so here is your first slide. No, but again, I will have to stop share and share you the new slide. No, ito yung problema sa Zoom. No, hindi niya sinusunod yung linking. No, so you will be directed again to this first slide. Okay. However, no, if you choose the second option, no, let's see, no, if you choose the second option, here, no, if you continue with the extermination plan, you will be directed to another slide, no, which is brutalizing the people. No, so eto siya. No, Ito siya, no? Brutalizing the people, impoverishing them, or attempting to exterminate them will only drive the newly formed nation into acts of desperation. A revolution will break out. Similar attempts at freedom have been made before, but they failed because the reasons for the early revolts were limited and parochial, and their leaders did not have a different consciousness. Things would be different at the end of the 19th century. So pag nabasa ng estudyante yan, no, he will understand what will be the consequence, no, of the choice. And if he clicks continue, no, pag click na itong continue, pupunta siya dun sa end slide, no, which is this. The end slide would be this. Okay, Philippine independence is inevitable. Whether by bloody revolution or peaceful revolution, transition, Spain would be unable to prevent it. Thus, at this point, the most rational thing for Spain to do would be to grant the reforms being demanded and work the way to a peaceful and developmental transition. Okay? So, ayan ang mangyayari, no? The idea is that for every slide that the student chooses, no, he will be linked to another slide in the leaf, no? So, madadala siya sa bagong leaf na ginawa natin at doon sa leaf na yon, meron ulit bagong link button na pag click mo, pupunta ulit siya doon sa next na cell doon sa concept map. Okay? So, again, no, if the student chooses the wrong choice, he will be directed back to the beginning. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if the student chooses this. Okay, grant them the reforms they demand. Okay, so if the student chooses this, ito yung lalabas na slide. Okay. Here, no? The grant of reforms would mean that the Philippine seat in the Spanish Cortes would be restored. It would indicate a stronger presence of the Filipinos in the Spanish seat of sovereignty. In the Cortes, Filipinos can demand greater rights and more equity for their countrymen back in the Philippines. The logical consequence of reforms would be the demand for autonomy, which Spain at this point in history could ill afford not to give. At pag clinic ng estudyante yung continue, pupunta siya ulit doon sa final slide na independence. Okay? So pupunta siya ulit dito, no? Yan. Philippine independence is inevitable. Okay? Suppose ang pinili naman ng estudyante ay yung last, no? Ito, read the briefing reports from the colony, no? Kapag clinic niya ito, the student will be directed to this slide, no? And let's view the slide, no? Ito, no? The king is not pleased with your advice and has ordered your execution. Yan, no? So kapag mali yung pinili niyang choice, ito yung consequence ng kanyang choice. At kapag kinontinue niya, no, clinic niya yung continue, babalik siya doon sa first na slide, no? Okay, babalik siya doon sa unang slide, which is again this slide, no? The opening slide. Where is that? Let me close again some of this, no? This is the problem with Zoom. It cannot follow the links, no? And it will go back to this new slide over here, no? Babalik siya dyan sa slide na yan, no? And the student has to start all over again. Okay? So, ganon, no? Kapag sa natural resources, pwede po positive results. Di po ba? Yes, no? Pwede, but maglagay ka ng parang trick choices, di ba? Maglagay ka ng trick choices para kung pumunta doon yung estudyante, malalaman niya na mali yung choice na pinili niya, no? Kasi kung puro positive lahat yung choices mo, no? Walang pagkakataon yung estudyante to explore other options, no? And perhaps one good way also is for the student to commit mistakes para makapunta siya dun sa tamang choice later on, no? So always give a false lead, no, to your students. Okay, so let's stop this now and go back to our main presentation, no? Okay, so where is that? Nawawala yung ating main presentation. Let's close this, no, so that we have some free space for our main presentation. Okay, so there, no? We link the files through hyperlink, then we test run the virtual scenario. That is what we just did, no? Although it was not very smoothly done with Zoom, we had to stop share and share the new leaf because Zoom does not allow us to go from one leaf to another through hyperlink. So we have to stop and then share the new link that was open. And then after the test run, and you notice certain things that are incorrect, no, or that are not consequentially done, no, or that where there is some wrong grammar or certain flaws, no, in the presentation, you tweak the virtual scenario, no, according to feedback, no, and then after going through it all again and rechecking it, you upload the scenario into your Google Class already. Okay, so ayun, no, ang ating gagawin. So that is how we create a virtual scenario on PowerPoint application. Okay, the accessible application. Okay, and then okay, no. So are there any questions, no, okay, on the workshop, no? Why don't you take 10 minutes, no, to link now your leaves, no, and then connect the different leaves into a single stream, no, of your presentation. Okay, so gawin natin yan ngayon, no? Workshop 2, 10 minutes. Finish the construction of your virtual scenario with the following additional elements. No? Linking your leaf files according to their proper sequence, and then testing the virtual scenario by sharing it to the other participants. Okay? So kanina sa workshop 1, gumawa tayo ng title, gumawa tayo ng outcome. Sa workshop 2, gumawa tayo ng concept map, no? At dinetail na natin yung iba't ibang mga leaves na kailangan gawin, 3 layers sabi natin, no? And then sa workshop 3, no? Workshop 4 dapat ito, no? Okay. Sa workshop 3, gumawa tayo ng PowerPoint slides for every leaf sa ating virtual scenario, no? Dito ngayon sa workshop 4, i-link natin yung mga leaves, no, ng ating virtual scenario according to their proper sequence, no? And we test the virtual scenario by sharing it to the other participants, no? Pero baka mamroblema tayo dahil sa Zoom, kailangang stop share, continue share na lang tayo, no? Parang yung ginawa natin kanina. Okay? So why don't we do that in 10 minutes? 10 minutes starts now.
Score is now 10-24.
Union Bank wins! Panapanahon ng pagkakataon, may babalik ba ang kahapon? Natatandaan mo pa ba nang tayong dalawa ay unang magkita? Panahon ng kamusmasan sa piling ng mga bulaklak at halaman, doon tayo nagsimula mangarap at tulad. Natatandaan mo pa ba inukit kong puso sa punong mangga at ang inalay kong bumamela, magkahawak kamay sa dalampasigan, malayang tulad ng mga ibon, ang gunita ng ating kahapon. Ang mga puno't halaman ay kabiyak ng ating gunita. Sa paglipas ng panahon, bakit kailangan ding lumisan? Panapanahon ng pagkakataon, may Pinagdaanan ng ating tula at pangarap, ngayon ay naglaho na. Saan nahanapin pa? Lumilipas ang panahon, kabiyak ng ating lumita. Ang mga puno't halaman, bakit kailangang lumisan? Panapanahon ng pagkakataon, may babalik ba ang kahapon? Lumilipas ang panahon, kabiyak ng ating gulita. Ang mga puno't halaman, bakit kailangang lumisan? Panapanahon ng pagkakataon, may babalik ba ang kahapon? Bakit di ko maamin sa'yo ang tunay na awitin ng loob ko? Di ko nais mabuhay pa kung wala sa piling mo. Ngunit di ko pa rin maamin sa iyo. Di malaman ang sasabihin pagharap ka, ngunit nililingon naman pag tumaraan na. Oh, kay laking pagkakamali kung di niya malalaman. Kaya't sa awitin kong ito'y padarama. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la. Sa awitin kong ito'y madarama. Maya, maya, maya. At kung ako'y lumipas at limot na, ang awitin kong ito'y alaala pa. Awitin ang damdamin ko sa'yo maiiwan. Sa pagbulong ng hangin ng nakaraan, o sa pagbulong ng hangin ng nakaraan. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la. Sa awitin kong ito'y madarama.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Trang Lu.
Xin chào các bạn.
Và hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng tìm hiểu về một hoạt động cải thiện dinh dưỡng từ
Buhay nga naman, di mo maintindihan, di mo alam kung saan ang hangganan. Ang buhay ng tao, sadyang misteryoso. Di mo alam kung kailan ang katapusan. Ngunit ika'y maaalala sa mga kwento mong madrama, at hindi malilimutan ang iyong mga kalokohan, at ika'y pag-uusapan at pagtatawanan, ngunit mamumulila sa iyong paglisan. Ang buhay nga naman, kay lalim ng kahulugan. Di mo alam kung ano ang kapalaran. Ang buhay ng tao sa ibabaw ng mundo. Di mo batid kung ano ang iyong daratnan. Ngunit ika'y maaalala sa mga kwento mong madrama, at hindi malilimutan ang iyong mga kalokohan, at ika'y pag-uusapan at pagtatawanan, ngunit mamumulila sa iyong paglisan. Ang buhay ng tao sa ibabaw ng mundo, paikot-ikot at sadyang maglaro. Ngunit ika'y maaalala sa mga kwento mong madrama at hindi malilimutan ang iyong mga kalokohan at ika'y pag-uusapan at pagtatawanan, ngunit mamumulila sa iyong paglisan, ngunit mamumulila sa iyong paglisan. Kung tayo ay matanda na,
Okay, so are you done with the workshops? The final workshop, no, the final output can be summarized as something like this, no? Okay, so there are our leaves, di ba? Andito na yung starting leaf natin, di ba? Yung starting leaf natin, yung title slide, at saka yung choices dito, no? But the choices would lead us to these 5 different possibilities, no? Here are our slides for the 5 different possibilities. Yung una ay yung extermination. Pangalawa ay yung keeping the people poor, no? And powerless. The third is brutalizing them, keeping them ignorant and illiterate. The fourth is the grant of reforms. And the fifth is we advise the king to read the briefing reports. Okay? So, kung ito yung pinili niya, it will lead to this one, no? Revolution. To exterminate the people will lead to revolution. To keep the people poor and powerless will lead to revolution. To keep the people illiterate and brutalized will lead to revolution. The grant of reforms will lead to autonomy, no? However, if we continue the path, the revolution will lead to independence, and autonomy will also lead to independence. If you choose the last one, which is, advise the king to read some more, then you will be executed. No? The king is not pleased with your advice and has ordered your execution. No? But if you continue it, no, you will be led back to the first slide. So ganito yung parang sequence, no, ng ating mga leaves, no, ng ating mga slides. Okay? So by going through this path, no, the student will be able to realize that whatever path he chooses among the first 4 options, the result is always independence, no? And he will realize that Spain really has no choice, no? Kaya kung alin man dyan ang kailangan niyang, ang pipiliin niya, the ultimate result is independence. Ngayon, kung hindi nag-iisip ng tama ang Spain, kung baliw ang Spain, no? Kung siraulo ang Spain, pipiliin niya yung extermination, yung keeping the people poor, at keeping the people illiterate. Because these are mad decisions, no? It is not reasonable to exterminate the people. It is not reasonable to keep the people poor. It is not reasonable to keep the people brutalized and ignorant. So these 3 choices are choices of madmen, no? They are choices of irrational men, no? Irrational leaders, no? Okay? And these three irrational choices na hindi maganda, no, it will lead to a revolution. So if Spain, if the Spanish king is not insane, if the Spanish king thinks rightly and correctly, if the Spanish king is sane and is rational, the rational choice is the grant of reforms. Because the grant of reforms will lead to a peaceful transition to autonomy. And a peaceful transition to autonomy will lead to a peaceful end of independence. Yun ang sinasabi ni Rizal sa kanyang Quus volt perdere Jupiter prius dementat. No? He whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. So if Spain is mad, then these first three choices will be the choices of Spain. And if these three choices will be the choices of Spain, then maybe, according to Rizal, the gods had already chosen to destroy Spain. And so a revolution will be the result. And that revolution will lead to independence. Now, he whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad. These three choices are mad choices. And these three choices will lead to a revolution where Spain will be destroyed. But if Spain is not mad, then maybe the gods do not wish to destroy Spain. This will be the choice, reforms, and reforms will lead to autonomy, and autonomy will lead to independence. Okay, so the peaceful path to independence is through the grant of reform. So, dito sa virtual scenario natin, papasok ang estudyante sa consequences ng mga choices, di ba? Consequences ng mga choices. At dito niya makikita na ang gusto ni Rizal na palabasin ay ultimately magiging malaya ang Pilipinas. Okay? So there, no? Are you ready now to share your virtual scenarios? Okay, who will volunteer to share the virtual scenarios? Kung hindi nagawa yung PowerPoint, at least yung concept map ang i-present natin. Okay? Who will volunteer to present the concept map for his or her virtual scenario in his or her field of specialization? So, hintay tayo ng volunteers, no? Okay, let us volunteer fast because we only have 10 minutes left in our time slot until 11:30. So we are now 11:19, no? So any volunteers to present the concept map of the scenario? Wala. Wala tayong volunteers. O magbunutan tayo. We have 145 attendees, no? Alangang walang gustong mag-volunteer sa 145 attendees natin, no? Less 5 pala kasi i.LEAD constitutes some of this. So 140, sabihin mo na, 141. So any volunteers? Kahit yung concept map lang po, which looks something like this. Yeah, which looks something like that. No? So do we have volunteers? Just type in the chat box your intention to volunteer to present the concept map. Wala po?
Natakot yata, Sir Jopo.
O kulang yung oras kasi, no?
Baka
So,
po, opo.
yeah, so Mami, I turn the floor to you for what can be done regarding this.
Ayan po. Dear teachers, I know po it takes time to really build your concept map and also the slides. It also requires a lot of research also. Baka po talagang kulang yung oras natin. So okay lang po yun. Ngayon po, ang instruction ko kanina, any part po of the workshop na natapos natin, pwede na po natin insert sa ating assessment tool at yun na po yung output natin for this session, yung ating pong fourth session. But for now po, okay lang po. Kung hindi pa natin tapos, we can continue working on that po. But do you have questions po for Sir Jo po before we end the session? Use the raise hand icon po or you can put your questions in the chat box. Sir Jo po, pwede rin bang old school ito? Kasi parang naalala ko meron ding ginagawang ganito nung araw na hindi pa uso yung PowerPoint at mga pagdadala ng teacher ng laptop sa school. Pwede bang without the technology, can this also be done in classrooms? Pag face-to-face classes?
Yes, of course, ma'am. Dr. Rhea, the scenario building, scenario-based learning, which we were doing before, no, was actually one of the more participative ways by which we can involve students, no, in the classroom. No? So what we did before was give a question, a general question about possibilities, break the class into groups, and let each group think of a possible answer or solution to the problem. No, this was known before as scenario-based learning. No? So we create a scenario, we create a condition for a story, and then we allow the students to break up into groups so that they can actually, explore the possibilities of the scenario. No, but the question is, we have already certain technologies that will enable us to explore scenario-based learning in a manner which will not require extensive preparations by students. No, by giving them this scenario ourselves, we are using one thing that they like the most, and that is engagement in gadgets. No, so pwede na tayong bumalik, no, sa scenario-based learning dati, no, pero bakit hindi natin gamitin ngayon yung ating mga educational technologies, no, in creating scenarios? Alam nga namang iiwan natin, nasanay na tayong gamitin sila in the past 2.5 years, no? Alam nga namang iiwanan na natin sila ulit sa labas ng classroom at papasok tayo sa classroom ng wala tayong dalang mga materials except the traditional materials of Manila paper, no, of pencil pens or whiteboard markers, no, and then let the students draw the scenario outcomes on these Manila papers. No, why not use the technology that we have learned, no, during these past 2.5 years and integrate it into scenario-based learning so that we can come up with virtual scenarios like this. No, and I think students will be more interested. They will give greater the time and attention to this because ito yung mga gustong-gusto nila, no. Paggamit ng social media, paggamit ng gadgets, no, pagtingin sa mga pictures, di ba? Okay. Para ma-lengthen natin yung kanilang mga attention spans, no, sa ating mga lessons. Ayun, ma'am, no, yun lang. No? Pwede natin bumalik, pero why not use we have now?
Yes, tama po. Kasi we have technology. Even if, for example, students don't have gadgets or don't have internet, pwede naman kahit si teacher lang ang merong dala at merong access. Sir Jo po, may question, may comment po si Ma'am Flor de Lisa. Can you
yes,
see it?
I see Ma'am Flor de Lisa's comment, no?
Mhm.
In science po, ginagawa ko po by station ang pagsagot, no? Malalaman na tama ang sagot sa next station, pero kapag mali, may one additional task sila. Yan, no?
Parang game, oo.
Yan. That is the virtual scenario option, no?
Yes.
Ang challenge lang natin, Ma'am Flor de Liza, ay how to create the PowerPoint application of this, no? Para sa kanilang gadgets sumasagot yung mga bata, no? So, yun. Tama ito, no? Ito yung may one additional task sila, pero ultimately, they will be exploring all the possible options. Okay? And from Miss Olivia, Ma'am Olivia Rivera, sa grade 1, ano po ang unang scenario na gagamitin kung ang aralin ay araling panlibutan na ang paksa ay mga tuntunin sa tahanan, no? You can, this is a very, very rich scenario, no?
Yes.
Sa grade 1, mga tuntunin sa tahanan, what to do, no? The rules of the house, no? The rules of the household, no? You can actually come up with scenarios on roles to play within the house, no? Because the tuntunin ng tahanan will depend on what role are you playing, right? No? So in the first, I would imagine something like this. In the first slide, in the start slide, we will now let the student choose the role. Do you want to be the father? Do you want to be the mother? Do you want to be the eldest child who is a male? Do you want to be the eldest child who is a female? Do you want to be the middle child? Do you want to be the bunso, no? Or the last child, no? And each choice will lead to different roles and functions within the household, no? Okay? And then, as you lead the child through the discussion of the different roles, the ultimate slide, the final slide, will be the general rules of the home, the general norms that are being followed. Okay, so you can do it like that. That's what I think of now as a result of the question, but you can develop it further using also your materials and your gadgets. Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Olivia, for that question. No? From Jewel, is there a particular app software we can use for making virtual scenarios? No, there is a particular app, scenario building app, no, but they are for subscription, no, they're for subscription. They are paid monthly, but it's generally cheap, no. These subscriptions, you can use them for just like 300 pesos per month, no, subscription rate. If you want, you can download and install these applications yourselves, no. Just type virtual learning or virtual scenario applications and then download them. It's just like your regular loads, di ba? Sa cellphone, 300 per month, which is quite okay. But if you want it to be subsidized by the school, then perhaps an arrangement also can be made, where the school can pay for the subscription, no, and that subscription can be used by the teachers also. Pero kung ako, yung 300 per month, parang naglo-load lang ako ng cellphone dyan, no? And these applications are very, very friendly, no? They're very friendly. This is where you have the student enter a room, no? And there are already prepared choices within that room, no, na pipiliin ng mga estudyante. Okay? So, si Sir Edmund, meron siyang natapos, no, sa Google Docs niya ginawa, no. We will see this, Sir Edmund, no. Let me see if we can open it up. Okay, here it is. Do you want to share it, Sir Edmund?
Yes, sir.
You want to share it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, Ma'am Ria, can we allow Sir Edmund to share his slides, no?
Hold on lang po, i-co-host natin si Sir Edmund.
Or I can share the slides and Sir Edmund can explain.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, ako na lang po mag-share and then Sir Edmund
Sige
can
pa.
explain, no?
Sige
Okay,
pa.
so here are the slides of Sir Edmund, no? Okay, I can put it under slideshow. Okay, can you see everyone?
Yes po, visible.
Okay, so Sir Edmund, go po. Sir Edmund, your slides are on share. you can talk now.
Yes po, sir. Bali yung yung presentation ko po, yung topic ko po, yung eustress and distress. Ang title ko po, Sarah, Person Under Monitoring. Ang instruction po, if you click start, mayroong video clip na lalabas. Tapos yung question ko dyan, nilagay ko, if you were in the shoes of Sarah, what options will you choose? So, yan, kung makikita nyo, sir, mayroong mga choices dyan. No? So, meron akong ginawang story. Sarah had a football competition where she served as a goalkeeper. Her family cheered for Sarah and was able to witness her athletic prowess in football. So, nanood yung family ni Sarah. Afterwards, si Sarah ay in-inform ng kanyang family na yung father niya ay nagkaroon ng COVID-19 infection. So yung tanong ko dito para sa mga learners, if they were in the shoes of Sarah, what options will they choose? So ginawa ko doon, sir, bali gumawa ako ng options, 5 options. Bali pag kiniklik nila yung bawat option, may lalabas na, sir, na kumbaga daw parang consequence. So kung makikita yon, kapag kinilik nila yung yung first option, yung lalabas is COVID-19 is spread out. Next, second option. Pag second option yung nilabas, letter B, Sarah goes out with their friends to celebrate their victory. If kinilik yon, ang lalabas doon, COVID-19 is spread out. Then, next one, letter C. Sarah undergoes self-quarantine because she is a close contact of her father. So, ang lalabas doon, pag kinilik nila, COVID-19 infection is contained. Then, the next option, letter D. Sarah informs her close contacts about the medical condition of her father. So, kapag na-click na yon, ang lalabas doon, COVID-19 infection is contained. Then, ang option letter E, Sarah undergoes RT-PCR test to determine if she is infected with COVID-19. So, pag na-click yon, ang lalabas, COVID-19 infection is contained. Yan po, sir, yung ko natapos ko kasi limited yung time. Hindi ko hindi ako nakagawa ng mga pictures, yun. Siguro due to time constraints, siguro, sir.
Yes, congratulations, Sir Edward, no? Sir Edmund, no? That is a very good way by which we can illustrate, no, the sequence of events, no? So you see, when the learner clicks the various options, then she learns what are the right protocols to observe, no? When somebody is infected with COVID-19, no? Siguro kung nagkaroon tayo ng konting oras, then Sir Ed could have infused also some pictures, no, into the presentation, no? So that's what we are talking about, no, as a kind of a virtual scenario building, which will allow the student, the learner, to think of the possibilities, di ba? Of the consequences of choosing an act, no? So bawat choice na ginagawa niya, nagkakaroon siya ng isang consequence at doon niya natututunan yung mga moral and moral consequences of the act, no? So there. So congratulations, Sir Ed, no? You got the idea. Okay, so with that, no? With that, we were able to see how virtual scenarios are constructed, no? Maraming salamat kay Sir Ed sa kanyang presentation, no? And we would like to end, therefore, this module with a final slide, no? From Heidi Hayes Jacobs, no? Ang sabi niya, as educators, our challenge is to match the needs of our learners to a world that is changing with great rapidity. To meet this challenge, we need to become strategic learners ourselves by deliberately expanding our perspectives and updating our approaches. So, when we go back to the classrooms, let us not forget what we have learned, no, in the great world of digital disruption. No, let us not forget what we have learned during these 2 years in digital transformations, particularly in educational technology. No, and let us use all this. Let us not lay them down by the gates of the school. No, let us not leave them when we enter the school. No, let us take them with us so that we can integrate them into a world that is more to the liking of our learners. No, so that's it po, no, for this module, and thank you very much for your attendance today. Ma'am Doc Ria?
Sir Jopo, may pahabol na comment si Ma'am Olivia. Sabi niya, it also develops higher order thinking skills sa ating students.
Yes, no. In fact, the ability to choose from an array of choices is an exemplification of HATS, no? Higher order thinking skills, no? Kasi nag-evaluate sila, no?
Yes.
Nag-evaluate sila. At ina-assess nila yung value ng bawat choice, no? So that is really higher order thinking or critical thinking among our students. So thank you po, Ma'am Olivia.
Thank you po. No, thank you, Sir Jopo, again for very patiently handling this workshop session. Talagang step by step po si Sir Jopo pag nag-handle ng workshop. Talagang madali pong sundan at madali pong i-adapt sa ating mga subject or grade level po. Nakita nyo naman from preschool hanggang college, pwedeng-pwede po natin gamitin yung workshop natin for this morning. And as simple as using a PowerPoint application, pwedeng-pwede na po natin siyang gawin, no? I-prepare beforehand habang gumagawa po tayo ng mga lesson plan. Tignan natin po kung saan natin siya pwedeng isingit at pwede na po tayo mag-prepare beforehand ng ating materials that are engaging, interesting for our students. Kasi po yun nga although we could do it old school kasi ginagawa naman na po dati ito using Manila paper, pentel pen, or cartolina. Pero andito na po yung mga gadgets, pati mga estudyante natin na nag-e-enjoy na magbutingting po ng mga gadget. Kaya po mas lalo silang maengganyo. Hindi lang po using the virtual scenarios themselves, no? But also the use of the gadgets that develop also their skill in using and manipulating technology. With that po, thank you, Sir Jopo, and thank you also, dear teachers, for actively participating in this workshop session. Alam ko po, Sunday, ang hirap-hirap po talagang manghiram ng oras sa mga teachers pag Sunday kasi alam natin for the next day, sabak naman po tayo sa ating mga class. So thank you very much po. Wala na po tayong asynchronous session kasi ito na po, yung output po natin, yan na po yung ating output for our session 4. So ang mga nagtatanong po, yung ating submission bin, it's up po on our FB group page. Doon po natin isasubmit yan. Ang deadline po niyan hanggang bukas po, Monday 5 p.m. So wag po kayo mag-aalala kung di pa po kayo tapos. You can still finish it po and you can submit it up to tomorrow po 5 p.m. Nakikiusap din po kami yung evaluation tool po natin. Andun po yun sa ating FB group page. So sagutan din po natin yun. And of course, our attendance for the 4 sessions. Thank you very much, dear teachers, and God bless everyone. And we hope to see you again in the future activities of i.LEAD. Tama po, sana po next time face-to-face na po para masaya naman. Maraming salamat po, dear teachers, and God bless everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday po.